Hi everyone, journal page, and this is by a request. I've posted this some time ago on Facebook, and Debbie, it's for you. I'm going to do something similar so you can see. Believe it or not, this was done just with 2 scraps of paper with leftover paint and 1 stencil. Usually when I have leftover paint, I just smear it in one of these notebooks, and then I have lots of painty paper, and that's what I've used here. But today I'm going to do it from scratch and not use the papers from here, just so you can see how to do it. And I'm going to just go and do something similar but with different colors. So I just picked 3 colors for the background. I've got some dark purple, some dark turquoise, and this light mint color acrylic paint. This is a sketchbook paper and it's quite thin, so I've glued 2 pages together so I will have nice surface to work on. So I'm just putting a little bit of each paint here. Okay, so I'm taking some brush and quite wide, so it won't take a lot of time to put the paint on the page, and I'm putting it I have a jar with water here, and I'm dipping it in just so it would be wet, and I can move the paint easier and blend it on the page. And so I'm taking the purple and I'm starting with this one, and this is the more the darkest color I have here, and I'm keeping it mostly to the edges. Maybe I will later on put it also in other places. And as I said, think of it as leftover paint, and I just putting it on the page. Don't really care too much where it's going, and I'm just cleaning a little bit my brush, not completely, and I'm going for the dark turquoise, and again just smearing it. Don't care where it's going. That's the fun with the painty papers, with the excess paint. You just use whatever leftover paint you have. And now I'm dipping into the light mint again, and now I didn't even clean my brush, just letting everything mix. And because the paint is wet, then it's easier to blend the colors. And as you can see, I'm each time dipping into another color, and I'm just letting everything mix. And of course it's easier when you are using the same or almost the same family of colors. If you are using cold colors together, it works. If you are trying to mix, then you will probably get mud. So it's better to go with the same family of colors. So as I said, this is quite random, but what I do try to do is have a lighter color in several places, so you get like light in several places on your page. But otherwise this is quite random, and I do try to blend it with the rest of the page. So basically this is it. That's the the background, and now I need to wait for this to dry before I'm doing the stenciling on top of it. And for the stenciling, I'm going to use white gesso, but you can use whatever you want as long as it's a light color. If you are making a light background, use something dark on top with the stencil. If you are doing something like this, which is a darker background, then I'm going to stencil on top of it with a lighter color. And I can also stencil on top of it with the mint. It will just go with the rest of the page, and I can use something like white gesso or any other color that you wish to use. There are no rules to it. It's just personal preferences. So I'll be back when this is dry. I'm back. So now I'm going to stencil on top of it. It's going to create a more interesting background and bring everything together. And I am going to use the same stencil that I've used before. Now you don't have to have this stencil. You can take whatever stencil you have. I can take this and do some flowers and more flowers and whatever floats your boat. It can be numbers, it can be letters. The only thing is to create some pattern on top of this starter of a background. So I'm going to take some makeup sponge. Let's take the part with the dry paint. And I've already put some white gesso here. And now I'm going to start stenciling on top. I'm taking a little bit of the white gesso. It doesn't have to be white gesso. You can use acrylic paint. I just like to stencil with white gesso. It's more opaque. It has a more chalky finish. Up to you. And I'm just taking a little bit, dabbing, so I won't have too much excess on my sponge. And I'm starting to stencil. And I can also dip into the light mint that I still have here, mix it with the white gesso and stencil, and then I will have variation in the color and it would be just a little bit more interesting, like so. So if I'm lifting it, you can see there are parts that are more white, parts that have a mix with the mint. I can even go and take a little bit of the purple and also stencil with it. So now I have more interesting layer on top of the first one. Up to you. It can be completely white, or you can play with the colors. As long as it's lighter than your first layer, it will work. I'm just making sure that if I'm doing parts that are really light purple, then I will have, or the light mint, that I will have them in several places over my page and not only in one area. Otherwise, just stenciling away. Wherever it goes, it goes. Now this stencil, of course, it's easier. I don't need to switch between stencils to create the second layer. But as I said, it really doesn't have to be something like this. Let's see. Yeah, so as you can see, it didn't go all over the background. It's smaller than the rest of the page. So what I'm going to do is just move the stencil and do some more stenciling. It really doesn't matter. It's just little details like so. And let's put a little bit more here. Like so. Yeah. Okay, so I really like it. I think I'm going to take a little bit of this darker purple because I have darker edges to the left and the right. So I'm thinking, let's go and do also the bottom and the top, and then I have some frame to my page. Just like that, real easy. Here we go. Background finished. Now for the main for the focal image. Again, I've just used some painty paper with excess paint that I'm putting either on this book or on this notebook, and I only went for some contrast when I've done the other page. As you can see, just a little bit of contrast between this color and this. So I need to find something that will work on this, and the more detail, the more color, the more, I don't know, mess you have, then the better it would look. Yeah, like this and this looks horrible, but if I will start cutting leaves out of it, then it would look completely different. I'm thinking maybe using this, and I don't know, let's see. Of course, if you don't like contrast, you can go with something more subtle like this. Up to you. So I'm just checking to see what I've got left here in this notebook to use on top of this. No, not in this one. Let's see. Each time you need also to clean some stamps. Do it on some kind of thing like this, and then you will have interesting painty paper to just play with. So these are not quite vibrant enough for my liking to use on top of this, so I keep looking. I don't know, maybe I will just go over my I don't know, scrapbook paper, 12 by 12, whatever you have, other painting papers I have, and I will find something that will work on this background. I'll be back. I'm back. So found this painting paper again, just left over, and cleaning some stamp until you've got an interesting painting paper. And what I'm going to do is just draw some leaf shape and use it on top. And what I'm doing, I'm switching it over because I like to have random, that it will be random and not start to overthink which piece is that I'm going to cut out of it. And as you can see, I am not even trying to make the leaves in the same size, just drawing some, and we'll see how many I will need. And I'm just going to cut them out right now, and whatever will be will be. This is quite a free form of making things, not overthinking, not trying to be accurate and measure everything, just having fun with whatever scraps of paper you've got. Oops. And of course, if I I've cut something and I don't like it, then I won't use it. Like if I have too much left space here with nothing, then I'm not sure that I will use it. Of course, if you don't like this kind of thing, you can cut anywhere you like, so you will have the details that you want on top of your leaves. You don't have to do it like I do. It just works for me. Almost got enough leaves. I don't even cut them on the lines that I've made. It really doesn't matter. I'm using nail scissors. It's easier to cut curvy shapes with nail scissors and using the curve to your advantage instead of trying to use straight scissors to try and do the same thing. Yeah, so maybe just one more. We'll see. If we need more, then I'll put more. I'll cut more for this. Okay, so let's see. Some leaf here, and I'm just gonna play with it like so. Maybe, yeah, I think the yellow, there is a little bit of difference in the color in the back. Some are more yellow, some are a little bit more orangey in color, so I'm starting with the yellow towards the top and going something like that. Yeah, I think something like this is good. That's what I'm going to do. Maybe, yeah, let's go with this. As I said, this has space with not enough details, so I'm just going to cut some other leaf that would be more interesting on my page. Here we go. More interesting. So now just some glue stick because it's just book paper. Trying to be quick about it. Now in the other page I've used black permanent marker to draw the stem, but now I've got a darker background and the black won't quite work here, so I'm going to use some other marker that would show on this dark background. Okay, let's see. Maybe I think I'm going to use some. Let's try gold and hope for the best. Or maybe light green. No, I'm checking my stash of acrylic pens like Bosco pens, and I've got some from the cheap store, of course. Let's try the gold. So I'm just going around my leaves and doing a stem, just connecting everything. Not sure about the gold. Maybe I'll go over it with another marker. We'll see. As I said, there are no rules to it. Use whatever you have and whatever you like. Just flipping it over so my hand won't touch whatever I've done already. It takes a few seconds to dry and I don't want to smear everything. Let's see. Okay, so I made a mess as usual. Dipped my hand into all this. Just great. If there is paint on my desk, I will get into it. It's just the way it is. Okay. So here it is, and I'm thinking that I like it and that I'm leaving it be. I thought about doing some gold splatter all around, but I'm leaving it as is. This is it, that's the page. And as you can see, you can do it with whatever painty paper you have, with whatever colors you have, and just have fun with it. So this is the 2 pages that I've done. I hope you liked it, and thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.